appreciate what he said, that based not on Pakistani polling or Iranian polling, on international polling, 76% of Pakistanis have a favorable view of Iran. First of all, I have to say, where is the rest? This 24 should also be having a more favorable view.
The rest are creating problems.
This is the failure of our embassy and consulate. They should work on that.
The rest are creating problems.
24, but it is great. I think it is a universally unique phenomenon. Can I be very informal? I think jealousy is here and there, even between nations. They suffer that 76% of Pakistanis, are friends of Iran. And I don't know, I don't have the same polling in Iran, but since this is my personal, let's say polling, I can say 99% of Iranians are friends of Pakistan. So they are jealous. Who did the same? Maybe more than Zionists. And they failed. Alhamdulillah. They failed. Now that they have failed, these Zionists, some of the so-called elites in the region, and their friends in the right wing of United States and Europe. So there was a coalition. They tried to keep that psychology of not doing deal and banking with Iran alive. This is the strategic one. They want to keep that framework of, let's say, old mentality, sanctioning and so on and so forth. And I advise my colleagues and friends, take this paradigm of thinking into the calculation. And that's very important. Now they are, actually some of them are more active in anti-Iranian bashing. Why? Because they are afraid and they want to get, let's say, the track back again in other channels. The second dimension to your question is the technical one. And I think you have to keep in mind that these technicalities should not be just, let's say, taken as they are perpetuated impediments. You should solve them, Yes, there may be a banking, let's say, code, but it is the end of the world. Should the economic business community here be so afraid of the possible of this and that? Oh no, we have to deal, we have to manage it, and we have to really clear the way for a better situation. We cannot find any single statement by Iranian leadership, elites, and all policymakers that we pursue a sectarian policy. They pursue sectarian policy, and they want really to somehow defer their own responsibility to the others. Here I would also like to add that all this whole sectarian debate started when Iraqis could have more or less a democratic constitution, where the majority was suppressed for decades, and some regional powers who were supporting Saddam Hussein during his war with Iran, then became the victim of Saddam Hussein atrocities. Then they were worried, oh, these people who are the majority are now back. So they started fabrication and this narrative making of sectarian, which has no relationship with the policy of Iraq. And I have to say no real Muslim is for any sectarian conflict. So we are for unity of Muslims, and I think it remains a prominent feature of our policy, as well as the policy of all real Muslims everywhere. Now on the private sector, I answer you from, let's say, the reverse. We have in Iran a program of work or a framework. It is really more than a law. It is the frame debated, then approved and sanctioned by the Supreme Leader called اقتصاد مقاومتی, resistant economy. If you read it, and I advise you to read it, it's also in English, it is giving, actually it's the guideline that how Iranian economy should be. And there is a special place for privacy. It's an ingredient part of it. Now on the first question, reintegration in the world economy is a concept which I am not sure what you mean. First of all, should be integrated in the banking system which is corrupt and created financial crisis of 2008? Should be? Or should we insulate ourselves from such shocks? Actually, the goals of this اقتصاد مقاومتی, resistant economy, is to insulate Iran from this, let's say, global integrative processes which makes your economy weak. Let me here add a couple of sentences. There is a plan, I think. I don't have, let's say, the exact address, but it seems that there is a desire, at least. It's not a well planned, but you see some signs of plan to weaken Muslim societies, economically, socially, politically, and so on and so forth. Actually, I was referred to the other roundtable a couple of weeks ago in our institute, and an international participant brought our attention to a plan called the Yenon Plan. Yenon Plan, it was published by a Zionist in 1982. And he is talking about balkanization of Middle East economy. Making different sets. I think even he goes not just to Iraq. He mentioned that Iraq should be divided. It's in 1982. All other countries, I think even he goes to Pakistan, because it's a lengthy article. So it's a plan to weaken us. And we should be careful. These concepts of integration come there. They should not be able, our destiny should not be in their hands. One more.
Your Excellency, my name is Vaid Baksh and I am a medical coach. I have 3 questions for you, very small one. But before I mention my question, you talked about the bonds between Iran and Pakistan. I think the most
I get the rest. And I agree with it. But I actually don't agree with the way you format it. Monarchical regime was closer to Pakistan, not because of Pakistan. Not because his love for Pakistan. As a neighboring nation, he was caring of the interests of the West. And at that time, he was confronting a lot of pressures, regionally, including from the Arab nationalism and from Soviet communism. So he was dealing with Pakistan as a card in a strategic game. Yes, of course, he spent money and so on and so forth, but don't be inattentive to the fact that you cannot compare the monarchical system of previous time, which was overthrown by the will of people with the Islamic Republic of Iran, which I think is sincere on the issue of friendship with Pakistan. You know our leader, Supreme Leader, writer of Khomeini. It was in 2009 when there was a natural disaster here. It was a flood. And he was giving sermon. And he was so sorry for what's happening to the Pakistan people that he cried. He cried in front of audience. I think this is sincere. You cannot compare these two, let's say, periods with one angle. On RCD, on the demise, still, RCD was a byproduct of Cold War. There was a CENTO, first NATO, then CENTO, then CETO. These were part of what we call containment of Soviet Union based on what George Kennan wrote. All of these military alliances which were against Soviet Union, rightly or wrongly, had an economic appendix. In Europe, NATO was there, but you had here a lot of European integrated processes. In this part, they started RCD. Of course, it doesn't mean it was bad. I'm not against RCD, but I want you to refer to the context upon which it was created. Cold War ended, but these three nations, Pakistan, Iran, and Turkey, kept RCD, then transformed it to ECO. So the first answer to this question is that RCD is not dead. It is alive in a new format, but you are right. You have an expectation that it should be more active. Furthermore, I would add that there should be a clear, much more focused cooperation between these three, beyond ECO. I think Economic Cooperation Organization is good in a way, but then there is a necessity for more trilateral cooperation between these three. On Iran-Pakistan pipeline, I think we have done our job and we continue to do our job. There has been a lot of talks here and there. As I heard from our Consul General, there is a section in the Pakistani side which should be completed, and I heard there are Chinese financing for it. It should be materialized. It is not an idea on the, let's say, on the paper. It should be proceeded, and I'm sure it will proceed with the help of Allah and consistency of our two nations. I thank you again. It is our good neighborhood,
Very good.
and we are for